And now moving on to our next session, Picture Perfect. And to moderate the session, may I please call upon stage Arshdeep Sandhu. May I please request our next panel of guests on stage, renowned fashion designer Mr. Jattinn Kochhar and Miss India World Vanya Mishra on stage, please. Before I hand over the stage to Arshdeep, can we have the AVs, please?
His designs are a fusion of ethnic with chic. He's a designer who believes in spending time with those he's creating for, soaking in their energy and thoughts, and then translating it into material, fabrics, colors, and styles. He likes to keep it simple with understated elegance. Designs that can be worn every day, whether it be the Pret Line or the evening wear line. Jattinn Kochhar does not like to limit himself to design and has skilled himself in art, anchoring and styling. Ladies and gentlemen, Jattinn Kochhar.
Over to you, Arshdeep.
Thank you, Mishra. Welcome, welcome. So we'll start with you, Jattinn, talking about fashion, and you also represent fashion in a sense because you were into pageantry, and people like Jattinn design for pageantry and for models. So Jattinn, talking about fashion, we were earlier discussing about sustainability. You are one person who creates designs which are sort of sustainable, which are fuss-free in your own words. Where does the inspiration come from for such designs, or for what inspire you for fuss-free clothing, or something that you can just put into a washing machine as you yourself describe?
You know, my work is very urban influenced. And also me as a person, I like to be very self-contained. I don't want to depend on other people. Having said that, we all need to depend at some point or the other. So for me, these are key things. To keep it simple, to keep it practical, and that's how it makes sense to me. And keeping this in mind, also another important aspect of my work is I work with energy. So it's through the client's energy that I get inspired, and which shows me the way, what to make, how to make. Also, I keep myself, keeping myself as a client. Like if I was a client, what would I prefer? So I would look at something which I can wear more than once, and also wear it in lots of different ways. It is the same outfit, but you can change the accessories and make it look casual or formal or semi-formal.
Yeah. So when you mentioned keeping it simple, isn't fashion all about not keeping it simple?
You know, actually that's not true at all. For example, when it comes to luxury, you would see, of course this is my point of view, and I'm sure that a lot of people agree here with me, that real luxury is actually very simple. And it is not so much about the frills, so to say. It's the quality, it's the finish. Like I remember, let's say about 15, 20 years ago, if you discussed buying an expensive outfit or a designer bag for that matter, people would wonder, why would you spend a lakh or 2 lakhs on a bag? Now the thing is, this is not just a bag. It has great quality. It is so good that you can actually pass it down the generations. And that's what you're investing in. Like, I remember one of my tailor master used to say, "Mehenga roye ek bar, sasta roye bar bar." So, it's just the way you look at things.
Yeah. So Vanya, you've been Miss World and Miss World India, and you've also ventured into your own label called Summer Label, which provides opportunities for unrecognized designers. Where did this idea come from?
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here this evening. Yes, you're right. I did have my own startup. It was not a label, but it was a platform. It was a tech platform to actually make small to medium enterprises focused in retail, clothing retail and beauty space to have access to wider market reach. And because I'm an engineer, so, it's something that came to my mind because I had worked with a lot of designers from young towns, young city, smaller towns, and a lot of fresh talent that doesn't have access to or financial resources to, go to market or even have the time and the bandwidth to, think on those lines or to compete with a high-end fashion brand or, the stores that we have like Pantaloons, Zara and H&M. So we built a platform focused on that. And I think it was 2015 when I started, and, India's startup economy was really booming at the time. With Myntra being a huge success and Flipkarts of the world, right? So it was a perfect opportunity to build that, and so that was the idea to provide. And I don't think so any platform like that really existed because that was not the pain point that most people recognized.
How did that work out? How did that work out for those designers when we talk about creating something which is very special or which is luxurious in that sense? How did it work out for the designers?
So while the category was niche, because these are mostly undiscovered labels. When I say undiscovered, they are not very mainstream in the sense you won't probably know about it unless you worked with those people, right? But they were not very much focused on luxury, because if they were luxury, then they would have all the resources, right? So that was not the idea. We partnered with about more than 200 such labels, and they were very diverse. Few of them were very, I think they came from a very artistic space, right? There were designers who were from NIFT and so on, but then there were labels who were not from very creative backgrounds, but yet they had amazing products to market. And I think it was very well received in those terms. The reason I didn't work on it for a long time was completely different, but I think the idea as a whole was very progressive. It was also very tech oriented. The focus was, yes, it was a fashion marketplace, but it was very tech empowered through AI and ML. How you could actually create a marketplace which is empowered through technology. So it was scalable to 1 million labels in that sense, which is not something that you find very easily. If you open Zomato, you can find those number of restaurants. So it was a tech product at the end of the day, and it was very well received.
So you had a certain kind of a clarity, and adding to that, Jatin, you started at 18. You started your label at 19. How did you have that kind of clarity?
I have to be honest, I can't give myself any credit for this. I think it was always Almighty, and this is what I truly believe. And that's how I was guided. And I believe that I'm just a medium. So more like a mouthpiece for him. So I want to make sure that every word that I use, that I share with all of you, is not just mine. This is what he wants me to share with all of you. And that's how I guess I'm here. It's all his will.
Yeah. But down the years, now you talk about keeping it simple, keeping the clothes fuss-free or frill-free, or, making something which is sustainable. Was it always like this?
Well, in terms of design, it was always like this. Also because everything that I create, I wanted to have a global appeal. Also when I showcase overseas, so they're always expecting something ethnic. Now the thing is, that sort of, I mean, it's a great thing, it's an honor for me. So what I try to do is to use an element of my ethnicity and not make it the highlight. So I like to design clothes which are accepted anywhere in the world. For example, even the sari that I do is basically lycra knit fabric. It's ready to wear. It's got an elastic waist. So you just need to pull it up and you can run a marathon in it. So I haven't compromised on the look or the fall of the garment. All I've done is given it another look. Having said that, I also truly believe that a sari has to be draped. But being realistic in today's time, I think if my elasticated sari can save the day, then why not, you know?
Yeah. So Vanya is an electrical engineer from PEC, from Chandigarh only. And Jatin, you also talk about technology, like imbibing technology into making a dress. What is it about?
You see, with the way things are going, I don't know if most of you are aware, but technology is already imbibed in a lot of garments that are done. But as of now, to imbibe technology in garments is a very expensive process, which only is being used by the US military. And if you look up online, you will find more details about it. I have to be honest that I won't be such an expert on it. I'm still making clothes to make people look beautiful. I'm still in that business.
Yeah, all right. So, Vanya, how do you choose a dress? How do you choose something that you want to buy? Because when we talk about luxury or when we talk about desiring something, so how do you look at it? Does sustainability play a role in it, or is it something that you desire, or a certain label that you desire?
Yes, I do come from the pageant world, and you asked quite a few interesting questions to Aditi and even Jatin here. I'd never been much of a fashionista or anything, and even when it comes to pageants, you don't really have to have that sort of luxury to afford big brands or labels, because it really doesn't matter. It's really all about your personality, and not just at Miss India, because they provide you with all the resources at the end of the day, right? You're all dressed in one, a very similar kind of a look designed by one designer. And it doesn't matter how poor of a background you come from. It's actually a platform for women, who want to make a name for themselves. So I had never been inclined towards fashion. I would hardly even wear short skirts because I grew up in Chandigarh and I was a student of engineering, and it was just not the culture in my undergrad. So for me, I think the first time when I wore a gown was at the pageant at Miss India. And I think post that, I just became so comfortable in being who I am, because I realized that I did not win because I wore some nice clothes. I realized I won because of who I am and how I am around the world, how I speak my thoughts, and who am I as a person. And I think that happened when I was also quite young, 19. And I think that was a very, it was a good inflection point, because I know a lot of youngsters give a lot of value to, how you should look, what brands you should wear. But I grew out of that, very young, and I would not judge a person by the clothes that, they wear, and neither I would like someone else to judge me for that. So yeah, my choice is very simple. It's more about, I've always chosen comfort when it comes to my own personality or my own fashion choices. And you make mistakes and you learn, because I remember during the initial days, we had stylists, we had all the army of fashion designers and makeup artists, but yet you would end up looking really bad on stage at times. And it happens to the best of us, Jatin would agree. So yeah, but it's all about comfort, and it's all about what makes you feel very confident and whatever personality you want to showcase to the world. So that's been my personal
As I
choice.
asked Aditi, she was Mrs. World in 2001 and you became Miss India in 2012. So down the line, 10 years, how has it changed? Do you see any change in pageantry?
Yes, big time actually. I think the world has changed in that regard. Back in the day, body positivity was not a very big notion, right? Instagram was not in India. I still remember I was in China, and my Colombian friend, she showed me Instagram, and I said, we don't have it back in India. It came to India in 2013, and I think that completely changed the game. We were very underexposed before coming to the pageant, but girls these days are very, very exposed. But having said that, that same exposure had brought a movement of, what what beauty means, right? Either you come from a different color or you come from a different body type. Brands you talk about, from luxury goods to the high street fashion brands, Zara and H&M, you actually see plus size models being photographed for catalogs, which was not the trend back then. They have completely, I think, eliminated the swimsuit round, which I think is a great thing because you're not defining women in that language anymore. So I think the landscape has completely changed, and for the better. I've always been a big proponent of pageants, in spite of whatever debate that goes on, because I think they give platform to women, in a way that nothing else does, for young women especially. And they represent so much more than beauty, and I've always said it. And I'm so glad the times that we're living in, because women are portrayed in a very, very positive manner. And I think you are actually giving value to all the right things, about a woman. So I think that's very good.
Yeah. So Jatin, as you talked about that, Instagram wasn't there back then when she won Miss India. But now many of the designers are actually, putting themselves out there on Instagram, on social media, and that's where they find their clientele. How has it changed for you?
I'll be honest, I'm also quite new to all this. So I asked my kids. I have no clue how to, to upload a reel or how to edit it. And but it's constantly, you're in a state of learning. So that's quite exciting for me. I like to learn new things. And I'd like to add, I think luxury is a state of mind. And it differs for everybody. For example, for me, luxury is having sound sleep at night, or spending time with my kids. Actually, a lot of time with my kids. Because that's true luxury, Also something that is made by hand. I mean, all of us would agree that, a sweater knitted by our dadi or nani, that is luxury for me. I mean, how many of us, especially our kids, I don't think so they have any concept of that. That's true luxury.
What goes into making of a dress for you?
What goes? Like I said, it's the energy of the client. And that's what guides me, shows me the way. So ever since I've learned this fact, so I've realized that I can't be giving myself any credit for it, I'm just doing what, they're showing me the way. Of course, the whole thing is energetic. We don't even need words to do that. And just the fact that Almighty has given me the ability, I'm very grateful for that.
Well, we had many questions, but we don't have the time right now. So thank you so much for joining us here. Lovely conversations. Thank you, Vanya.
Thank you so
Jatin.
much.
Over to you.
Thank you.
But I would request you to please be on stage for a few more minutes. And Jatin well said that, you've made us think again that luxury actually could be small little things. And it's so beautiful. Thank you.